Well, hello everyone. This is Courtney from Aqua Teen Home Buyers back here with amazing Krystal Payton. How you doing, Krystal?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Krystal is going through our intern program where we're walking folks through in 90 days our operations. And again, this is not saying we're the experts out there. In fact, Krystal gets to see all the mistakes and bumps and bruises as we continue to grow and learn. And we're just trying to show and document that along the way. It helps us get better, and hopefully it'll help you get better, Krystal, and the folks whoever listens to this. How's it been so far?
It's been good. Yesterday I made a mistake though. I realized like I gotta be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Hmm.
Um, so I called the guy and he was saying like, when he answered, he pretty much was like, if you want this, I'm only taking 71,000. He was like, I said, why 71? He was like, that's cause that's how much he's put into it. And then I kind of asked the same question without thinking. And he was like, hang up. And I was like, oh man. So I put that in the notes for you to see. But yeah, I realized like you gotta be really listen to what he was saying.
Absolutely. I think I did almost the same thing yesterday. I was locking up an appointment actually. The
Mm.
gentleman just told me he's available 10 to 11, not available 10 to 11, and not available 3 to 4. And I think I said, does 10:30 work? And I was like, oh man, what? And I'm just sitting there like, oh, you just literally just told me that. But yeah, it takes a lot of restraint and to like we shouldn't be talking very less. I think you picking up on that is awesome. It's awesome. Today we're going to follow through. We're actually going to talk about follow up. And last week we were talking about, or earlier this week we were talking about how to comp a property, how to do a comparable sale using Zillow and using other apps. That's very important so that you can present the right offer. But I think I want to step back and talk about what happens or some techniques or tips to use to follow up.
Okay.
All right. So when you're first calling a cold calling a lead, your job is to be the nurse, right? And
Mhm.
you are qualifying the lead, making sure that it's a quality lead that's going to move up in the chain. And shout out to Wholesale Nation and those folks over there, Andre King and Andy Speed, because they talk about CPR time, right? And you remember what that stands for? Put you on the spot.
Price, condition, price. I know their motivation and their timeline.
Absolutely, exactly. Condition pricing for the acronym reason to sell, but motivation and timeline, and that R, that motivation is the number one thing you want to grab. So just take us back when we're calling. You're coming in and you're interrupting their time. So people are used to saying no. No one likes to be sold, right? People like to buy stuff. No one likes to be sold. Like you go into a Best Buy and people like, can I help you with anything? Or you go into a Macy's, can I help you with anything? What's the first thing people say?
No.
Yeah, no, no, I'm good. Exactly. So when we get them on the phone, we want to disrupt that by, and that's why we have specifically in the script. Hey, I know I'm calling you out of the blue. Hey, how you doing, John? You don't. Hi, Mr. Rollins, Mr. Whatever. Hey, John. I know I'm calling you out of the blue, and I probably caught you at a bad time. You're disrupting. I probably caught you at a bad time. Not is this a good time, but I probably caught you at a bad time. You're disrupting the pattern that they're used to. And by saying I probably caught you at a bad time, assuming the negative allows them to say no. And when someone's able to say no,
Mhm.
they feel like they have a little more control. And this comes straight from Chris Voss, another great, I'll put a link in there, great negotiator, master negotiator, former FBI negotiator that does seminars and work all over the world, helping people understand how to negotiate effectively. Um, and he has a great book called Never Split the Difference. Because as a terrorist negotiator, he wouldn't it wasn't allowed the normal sales, you win, I win, we both compromise. No, we gotta, there's bodies and lives at stake. And one thing he noticed was allowing people to feel control by saying no. So I digress. You're setting the stage, disrupting what they assume is normal, helping them feel a sense of control. And you jump in with the script. Hey, I'm calling you out blue, calling about a property I think you own. And this is where I also add a little humanity here. Yeah, I think you own 119 7th Street, and that's the way I say it. I think you own that. So again, they know there's a human back there. I'm playing dumb the whole time. I want to be confident, but I'm playing, playing dumb the entire time. And yeah, I was wondering, you consider offer on that property there, and then depending on what they say, you go through the script. You're just listening. Great, we're talking about the property and all that stuff. You got that down, right? So
Mhm.
let's say um, you're having a good conversation and you're listening and you realize that this is a hot lead. Obviously, you're gonna, hey, well, great. Well, it looks like me or my team is out in the area today. Could we come out there? You want to get out there as soon as possible. Time kills all deals. If that's not possible, then the next day. But what you want to do is when you establish that time, like let's say later this evening. All right. So are you available later this evening? Yeah, great. All right. Does 6 o'clock work for you? And that's when you want to like narrow it in. You don't, once they, or if it's the next day. All right, great. Looks like I have available at 10 o'clock. Does that work? Okay. Well, how about 11 o'clock? Okay. Well, what time works for you? Well, anytime in the morning. All right, great. What about 9 o'clock? All right. Right. So you have the time established. And then what's really key is you want to say, you want to say, okay, well, you have my number. Please give me a call at any time in between there, because for whatever reason, if you decide not to sell, we're pretty serious buyers. If we come out, we're pretty much expecting to be able to buy the property if we can agree to all the terms. You're not even talking price yet. If we agree to all the terms, uh, so please let me know. Feel free. We promise to call me if you decide, between then and now, that you don't want to do this. You always want to give them a window out because we always want to be a reluctant buyer, but give them a window out. And so set the time, they'll establish it. Awesome. That's those hot leads. You go out there and you bring it out. Now, let's say for whatever reason you're not able to get the contract then, or for whatever reason you're not able to set the appointment. The next thing you're going to do is you take their name. Great. Well, me or someone on my team will be giving you a call, following up with you, if you don't mind. And again, you same thing. Establish time. Does what time works for you? Call me next Monday. All right. How about what time? In the morning. Okay. Does 9 o'clock work? Same process, and then you're following up with them. But you immediately take their information, and depending on the CRM system, you're going to make sure that CRM is prompted to remind you to call them that time, but also put it on a recurring time. And depending on the hotness, like back a better word, of the lead and how you categorize it, will depend on how often you call. There's some people who call every day, call, text, drop a ringless voicemail or email every day. If I do that, if I got a contract out there, if I put a contract out there and I wasn't able to like lock it up then, which I should have been able to do, but whatever, things happen. I'm calling. Hey, how you doing? Just want to follow up. Anything I can help you with, or any questions you have? The next step is this or that and all. But it might be a lead where I'm just calling, twice a week or once a week or 3 months or every 2 or 3 months, but I want to get in front of them. Now, when you're calling and following up, and this is the main part of the conversation I want you to hear, if that's been shared with me, is you're calling those leads that they weren't ready to sell at that time, but down the road they are. You want to stay front of mind. So when you're following up, people have the tendency to, hey, this is Courtney, just checking in to see about that property and see where we are with it. That works, but that gets a little redundant, especially if you're following up once a week, twice a week or once a month. So it is great to have their obviously have their phone number, but to have their email address as well, and taking very good notes on that person. So you're following up with value. You found out that their dog likes. Well, I'll give a clear cut example. One person I'm speaking to, she has a mother who's older, and she's trying to figure out how she can get money
Mhm.
to help support her mom. So uh, I remember that in my notes, and I researched and tried to find a bunch of organizations and created links and emailed it to her. Hey, Kathy, I was just calling to see if you were able to see that information about caregiving for your senior mom. Um, cool. Let me know any way I can help. Not even talking about the property and all. And next time I follow up, hey, 'cause you're on my mind. I drove past. They like I said, dogs. I drove past. Blah blah blah. You're on my mind. I just thought about you. How things going? Oh, great, cool. Um, and eventually when they're ready to sell, who are they going to be thinking about? They're
Yeah.
going to think about you, me, and us, and they'll give you a call. Um, I literally today, well, last night, the very first person that I bought, that I successfully contracted their property and signed their contract, called me last night. Um, and said, "Hey, Courtney, you remember that property on Popeland Street? I'm ready to go. You're the first person I thought about." Now, this is a person that I've been following up with gradually. It's really been just once a month now, and I'll just shoot Laurie a little text. How you doing? What's going on? Something related to our conversation. That's why it's important to keep good notes. But we want to
Okay.
stay front of mind, and it's awesome because eventually that becomes it just fills your pipeline. And if you're doing those consistent actions every day, it's not that I'm thinking about Lori every second. I'm allowing it to be on my calendar, so that I can um
Follow
I don't
up.
have to get the heavy lifting. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Any other questions or thoughts that you might have or somebody might have that might help folks?
Um, Not with the follow up. I don't have any questions.
All right, I think that's awesome. I think that's a tip then. Just make sure that you have a system that you're using to follow up. When you're following up, be thinking about adding value. How can I add value to this person that's not just, hey, you're ready to sell your property, ready to sell your property. It may be following up, hey, I have a realtor that you're looking for. Hey, I have a contractor that you're asking about. Hey, here's I know you're going through a loan modification. How is that going? You just staying connected with them. Well, I'm blowing up over here. Whew. but yeah, so that's follow up, and I think that's what we'll pause it.